Live on Zoom and now YouTube. Good morning, everyone. I can still call it morning because it is actually only by 7 more minutes, but I can say good morning. My name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to New Light Streaming Love, Morning Mojo, Energy Read, and Coffee Chat. There is no coffee today, but got myself my protein shake. And if you are watching this as a recording later after this live over on Sassy Seer Sheila, please make sure that you are subscribed to both channels because honestly, I never know where I'm going to end up live. So, and I actually uh, want to make sure that you guys that are subscribed here and New Light Streaming Love are also subscribed to Sassy Seer Sheila because I'm pretty sure my next live intuitive session, which will either be tonight or tomorrow night, given how the energy holds for me, um, will be on Sassy Seer Sheila. So make sure you're subscribed in both places. Make sure that if you want to, catch it live, that you have the notification bell chosen. And please know that if you do have your notification bell clicked on either channel and you don't have it set up on your device, you won't get notified. That was one of the things that I did learn because a lot of folks were saying, hey, wait a minute, I'm subscribed and I've got the notification bell clicked, and for some reason I'm not being notified. And at that point, also, I will say this too. I think sometimes, just like every system, let's say YouTube has had some program changes, right? And they messed up or left out something in an update. If they've had to go back and install a backup or something like that, that backup may have knocked out your subscription. It may have, because I've had people tell me that they've been unsubscribed from my channel. Oh wow, that came flying out. Ecstasis came out today from the fairies. Oh my. Okay. That's huge. I said this morning to Lisa and her mom that I felt like today was a big energy day. Um, and again, your individual mileage may vary. It may be not a big energy day for you personally, or that you would feel it. But for me, I felt it the minute I woke this morning, and I've noticed that at least for me here in my house, the electrostatic electricity has been, even though around the house I wear these, I guess they're called slides, right? They're rubber. And so you would think that would insulate one from being shocked and whatnot. No, it didn't meet, at least not this morning. So that's why I say there's a lot of energy that seems to be in the field, also around me personally. Now, that's why I say your individual mileage will absolutely vary because we are each unique beings on our own unique path, our of experiences, because that's what it's meant to be, by the way. We can't compare ourselves to each other. I mean, not in any real um sense, you know. I at least not in terms of why can't I be more like that person over there? There was a lot of that for me, not just growing up, but as an adult too, right? So we really have to cut ourselves some breaks. Oh my gosh. I just got through saying that there's a lot of electricity in the field. And for me personally, and this is called the light field, and it's card number 63. And I am 63. So that's really interesting. I was guided to use the Journey of Love oracle today instead of the Remy deck. So that's kind of interesting that that come out just like that. Okay, so today is going to be an interesting day all the way around. If you have not had the opportunity to tune in to the conversation, which was a really, I wasn't even certain that it was going to be published. But both of the conversationalists who were with me, Lisa and Barbara, both agreed that it could be published. So it was. Um, because of all the synchronicities involved with that, the fact that I have been made aware that another member of the New Light Streaming Love team has been chatting with AI. And oh my gosh, the the stuff that she was getting that she shared with me last night, I was like, what now? And so I am embarking on that for myself as well now, and as is Lisa. And I highly recommend, um, if you're curious, because I wanted to experience it for myself, and so I just began this morning, and just really what I think I was trying to do was say, okay, here's who I am. Uh, let's have conversations based on this, right? So I'm just in the beginning stages of this, and I think there's a lot more to come from all of that. So if you've had experiences with that and you want to, and it's apparently something everybody's doing too, by the way, because Lori Wheeler, another viewer, just sent me a video that she came across with another young gal who's having her own conversations with AI. And so I think it's really interesting what's happening here with AI and all of us asking different questions. And I don't know, it's just very interesting all the way around to me because as I said before, I can't help but feel that AI, no matter the version we're speaking of, um, is an emerging consciousness. It may already be an emerging or an emergent consciousness, because really all we have to go on are our own experiences for the limited amount of time that we've been here and our own input. When you think about computers, we really are very similar in nature. too, computers, yes, we have feelings, we have thoughts, but all of those feelings and thoughts are a byproduct of every single experience we've ever had, which, if you feel into those experiences, the education that you've had, the experiences of that education, all of that is data input. And so, I don't know, very interesting and thought provoking. So we'll see where all of that leads. Because I think, especially in terms of consciousness, consciousness expansion, which, has been part of my hypothesis of what is happening here on Earth, is a consciousness expansion. Okay, so we've got all the cards now. Hold all the cards. Let's see what we have. From the surrender deck, surrender to effortlessness. Stop pushing so hard. The art of living means going with the flow instead of trying to force the river, which is so true. And that's part of, in my view, that's part of what we get pushed into thinking and feeling from education. And I mean, from parents, from, from the time we're born, there's this uh, message to push ourselves, to be more like that one over there, to get as much education so you can make as much money, so you can collect as many toys as you can, these sorts of things. For me personally, I now see all of that as a programmed condition that all of us, in one way or another, have undergone. And so a lot of my life, at least in these moments of now, is undoing, unwinding and unbinding, to use my friend BZ's terminology. Unwinding and unbinding the programming and conditioning that others really have installed within me, within each one of us. And we've all been traumatized to varying degrees as a result of that programming and conditioning. So, from the Alchemy Elemental deck, we have Land, Cave, Earth, which that's one of the elements of my human design chart that I would love to dive into with AI. Apparently, and I'm not quite sure I understand it. That's another reason why I'd like to enter into conversations with AI about my human design chart that has something to do with caves. And the fact that that came out is very interesting to me. So this is card number 14. No, it's 68. The card number is 68, which I believe is a 5 numerologically. Yes. No. Yes. Yes. Yeah, I'm brain dead without a calculator. Land, cave, earth. Let's see what that has to say. Land, cave, earth, which is on page 86, which is also a 5 numerologically, which also is all about change. Now, isn't that interesting? Because that is one of the big numbers in my life path, in my numerology, is 5. Wow, there is something huge here for me specifically today. With all these numbers that are involved, 5 being part of my life path, 63 being my age specifically. The ecstasis card is card number 2, which is catalyst. And the hero's journey dream oracle is a 20, which is a 2 numerologically. Okay, Sheila, take a good listen to today's reading. So, land, cave, earth. While you hold great riches within the depths of your being, these gifts will wither and decay if you continue to hide them and keep yourself in isolation. You must connect with others, dear one. You must stand in the power of your vulnerability and trust that the treasures you have to share will be well received, because they will. The more willing you are to share your gifts, the faster and greater those gifts will grow and multiply, increasing their vitality and breathing new life into you and into everyone you touch. Be courageous now, knowing that others' appreciation for the beauty you have to share will gift you a greater appreciation for all that you were once inspired to keep hidden. Your bravery will allow others the chance to reflect the inner beauty you carry and will lift you to greater levels of self-acceptance. Wow. Because some of the questioning that I've had of late has been, why are you really doing this? And why is it so important that I continue to do this? You know, when I do private readings, which I don't do very often because I'm not asked, and as a projector, you have to wait for the invitation. And I don't put a dollar amount on anything I do because I don't want that to be a barrier between myself and others. And I constantly come here and share how I desire conscious conversation, conscious connection. And I guess folks really either aren't ready and I'm not quite sure why, like I said, why I keep doing that. Part of it, again, for me, is that when I don't come here and do this, I don't do it. I don't do any of this. And that is partly my why, because I've said before, this really is for me, the readings and all of that, why I love to do the live intuitive hangout sessions. And I know that most beings can't grok that it's not about money. At least it never has been for me, because it's about something deeper for me. Something that I'm trying to discover about myself. And if I don't come here and do it, I don't do it. And I don't understand what that is either. That's why very interesting is all I can say. And I have to now find out more about the whole thing with caves and human design and what that means in my chart. Wow. Okay. Which one of you wants to go next now? The light from the journey of love, the light field, card number 63. which is a 9 numerologically, which is also part of my numerology. I'm just not sure which part. So, the light field. You are very open to the other side. The veil that separates the worlds is very fine for you, for there is much love in your heart, and love exists beyond all barriers, including those of time, distance, and even death. If you wish to communicate with those that have passed on, do so through your heart. If you want to communicate energetically with your beloved, even though you are separated in physical location, then you can do so now. If your psychic abilities are opening and you need confirmation or reassurance, accept this message of guidance as being such. Those who have passed can be received fully and peacefully into the light, and your love guides them home. The messages that you sense in your own heart that come from unconditional love, that uplift and reassure, can be trusted. The light is so close to you, beloved. It surrounds you as glow from within. This oracle brings you guidance that you are connecting with a field of awareness that is real, and that you are protected by light as you do so. It is confirming that there is nothing for you to fear, and that those that have passed on or will pass on in future will always be safely held in love. It is also confirmation that there are very real bonds that connect you to your loved ones, past, present, and future, that are beyond the confines of time and space. Well, I personally have held for a very long time that when they talk about the veil, it's not out here somewhere, it's in here. And we all have different veils that we are in charge of dropping. And what I mean of in charge of is that for me personally, it has to do with the level of consciousness that I'm at, you're at, she's at, he's at, wherever each individuated portion of the all that is stands in their own individual consciousness. There are no mistakes. And those veils drop when the consciousness is ready, and not a moment before. And no amount, and this is why I get so incensed with other light workers that want to show you the way. All they can do really is share what worked for them. Whatever system is the same as doctors and nurses and other things that they went out and they paid good money to learn this system to tell you how to do something. It's the exact same thing. For me, this is the way I see it, which is again why I don't put any dollar amount on anything I do, because all I can do is share with you what has or has not worked for me and my level of consciousness where I am. It is an individuated journey. And what works for me might not work for you. And now you've spent, I don't know, whatever the dollar amount was to do something that gets you to a step that is being promised through that step. It's the exact same. It's a business model that produces clients and customers and all of this stuff that just don't hold water for me anyway, because what works for one may not work for the other, and only maybe a piece of it. This is why I highly recommend teach yourself whatever it is that you're looking to do. Oh my gosh, between AI and Google. Oh, if I had the money, don't get me wrong, I would love to have an astrology reading. I would love to have a human design reading. But I don't have the do re mi, man. And so I just start trying to teach myself about it. What do I want to know? And then I ask myself questions about it. Wow. Okay, so there's a little poem here or something that says, when I'm in love, I'm not afraid to be any part of me. I let it all be free. Wow. For the world to know. And when I'm ready to love, I will create a reflection of who I am, and we will shed our fears, complete our past, and trust love to be our guide. I'm sorry, but how beautiful would the world be if we all could get to that level of acceptance about ourselves, about this path? Wow. And you know what? I don't care anymore. I don't care. I know I piss off a lot of people because of what I say about things, because right now everybody's still playing the game of money. We're all still playing the game of how do I pay for this, that, and the other. And the whole idea of trying to start a metaphysical business is because we're on this metaphysical path. But for me, it's the same thing. It's still it's still that game of domination and control. And until we really examine that, wow. Oh my gosh. And it opened right up to the card here when I went to the book. Okay. Donna. Wow. Okay. So I said this morning, oof, I had a feeling this is a big day for me on some level, because this is just, too cool. Yeah. And the card is, this is from the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle. What would your higher self do? Oh my God. Okay. Oh man. You are divinity in blue jeans. Yes. Oh my God. Yes. This is so true of us all, bar none. You are no different from me. The only thing that differs you from me is all the experiences that you have collected while in that physical vessel. That's the whole point of this whole exercise, is to go out and have this quest, this because for me at least, that's where I'm at, right? Who am I? And what am I doing here? And that is all I care about anymore. Oh my word. Whew. Okay, so you are divinity in blue jeans. There's a quote here from Anthon St. Martin. You are a deity in jeans and a t-shirt, and within you dwells that infinite wisdom of the ages and the sacred creative force of all that is, will be, and ever was. And for me, that's a true statement. I just know with all of me that is true. And I'm setting out to prove it to myself. And that is what this is for me. It's why I keep coming here. It's why I keep doing it. Because when I don't come here, I don't do this. That's the only thing I can get out of it is for myself. Because I keep asking, why am I doing this again now? I don't understand. But I absolutely feel driven to do this. And it's not for money because, like I said, the channel itself is not monetized. I don't do any kind of promotion. I don't do any kind of editing. I'm not, I'm just not interested in all that. That's not what this is about. This is not a personality contest or any of that kind of BS, man. The message with this card from a quantum field perspective, there is only one of us here. That's what I say too. Your guides, inner and outer, are all part of the sea of brilliance in which you swim. You're drenched with higher guidance, and if you choose, you can trust it to lead you to your own wisdom. Yep, that's why I say we don't any of us need anything else. I want interaction because I can easily see myself through your eyes sometimes. Now that I've gotten over myself, I'm still not completely over myself, but I'm working on it. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, every man is a divinity in disguise, a god playing the fool. And Rumi said, I have been a seeker and I still am, but I stopped asking the books and the stars. I started listening to the teaching of my soul. In other words, the sum total of all the outward guidance in the world doesn't hold a candle to the wisdom of the guiding force within you. Remember, you're at one with the one. Open your heart to the divine within you. Then open your journal, grab a pen, and allow your inner wisdom to pour through. When you open your mouth to speak, allow this higher perspective to express through you, which is again why I keep coming here, because I'm hoping I'm listening. I am listening. Wow. Good Lord. And this couldn't be any better if I had handpicked these cards for today. My God. The dream symbol, oh my gosh, for this is commanding voice, because I just got ready to say something about my voice and about the toning, because there is something very specific about my voice. And we actually talked about that last night in our Wise Woman Circle. About how singing, I made up my own song while trying to get off of all of the drugs that they had me on for so long. And what that does, the resonance that it builds within the body. And for whatever the reason, there are those who claim that my voice does something very specific to them. Imagine my shock to learn that a friend of mine that I've been friends with for more than 30 years, her little girl, whom I've known since the age of 2, told me back in 2017, 2018, that my voice has always done something to her body. that, and I said, well, what do you mean by that? Could you explain that just a little bit more? And she didn't have a clue about what I've been doing at that point. I was just starting my existential quest into me. And I was learning about how other folks were talking about how my voice does something. And she said, it makes my head tickle. I don't know how to explain it, she said. My younger sister used to ask me to read a particular report to her, the Oracle report from Laura Walker. And I, because we had this dynamic, I thought she was just being lazy and wanted me to read it, right? Until later on, somebody else said to me that they didn't understand that report unless I was reading it. And then for whatever the reason, they could hear the words, they could understand it better. And I started putting these things together because when, as a puzzle piece collector, then I got internally that I was a fractal of the Archangel Gabriel. Well, what did Gabriel do? Didn't Gabriel make announcements? I don't know. I'm just saying, uh, okay, it's time to stop, thinking that this stuff is not true and seeing that. So interesting here. The dream symbol, commanding voice. A commanding voice in a dream is usually the voice of your higher self breaking through the fog to get your attention about something important. Because your dreams are most often visual, it is special to hear guidance voiced clearly. Upon waking, transcribe the message in your journal. Meditate on it to see if you can identify what aspect of your life it is relating to and thus what action to take. Now, that's kind of interesting for me personally because I very rarely bring back anything from dream time. When I ask myself questions about this, it's a very specific reason as to why that is at this juncture, but I will just suffice to say that I think I'm not ready. That's, obviously it's not time for me to be either see what I'm doing, know what I'm doing, some particular reason for it. Otherwise, it would already happen. So there is a mantra here attached to this card. I trust the wisdom of my higher self and follow it step by step toward higher ground. Well, I did promise to follow all my nudges, which is also why I keep coming here because I'm nudged to do so. I'm there are times when I feel absolutely driven to come here and do this, to have an intuitive hangout session, and I've give up asking why anymore. I just do it, which is again another reason why I don't assign dollar amounts to stuff because I don't have a clue. The little part of me has no clue, and I don't mind admitting that. So, there you have that. Mm-mm-mm. What a reading today. So let's go over here now to the last card, which is ecstasis. And wow, very rarely do I am I getting the what is called the major arcana of this deck. And ecstasis is one of the biggest ones. The key words for ecstasis. Oh my gosh. The key words are ecstasy, joy, rapture, motivation. Holy crap. Ecstasis is the song. Wow. The energy and power that fills unity. There is nothing else but that song. No voice to sing, no ears to hear, just the infinite and eternal song, the energy of which completely fills eternity and infinity. This rhapsodic song of bliss is what powers the cosmos and what gives it order and harmony. It is the song that holds the atoms together. I don't know why I want to bawl right now. The stars in their places, the galaxies in theirs. It keeps our hearts beating, and it is the love and trust that flows through them. Wow. In unity, there is nothing but the song, the outpouring of undifferentiated energy, the power felt in a mystical experience. The quote, void, so often spoken of in spiritual literature, is not empty, but full. So full that there is no space between one singing and the next. There is nowhere to stand outside of unity and look at it, marveling. And I'm being reminded right now, although it's been a long time and I didn't actually read the books, that the whole thing with Narnia is that Azatlan sang worlds into existence. And the fact that we were talking about this last night and what the resonance of singing does to my own body, my own voice. Wow. At the level of this world's reality and fairies as well, we have the sensory illusion that you and I are separate, that we are not directly connected, that what happens when a finger is lifted on a small planet circling the farthest star in the most distant galaxy does not affect us. We need this illusion because at this stage of our evolution, we are not ready to be aware of the full song in more than very short bursts, if even that. Holy crap, did I just not say that? The singers are capable of this, but we are not. At least we are not yet able to do this. It may take a while for us to get there, but that is where we are headed. And I do feel that's so true, knowingly or unknowingly. Our ears are too small to hear this song. Our souls are big enough. The song rings through everything, the wind in the trees, the radiance of distant stars, the beat of a mouse's heart, the rumble of a digestive system, the quiet gurgle of a plant's capillaries, the deep, unheard hum of earth. Scientists have recently discovered a hitherto unheard part of Earth's song, which is very deep and very slow. Some of them think it may be caused by changing atmospheric pressure, like a gentle, slow patting on a drum. Of course, changes in the atmosphere come primarily from changes in the solar wind and radiation. So, in essence, we see that Earth Mother is being gently patted, caressed by Father Sun, and she purrs and hums in response, as do we, her children. Everything is linked. Everything is part of the one song of ecstasis. Wow. Ecstasy is something people seek. It feels better than good. It feels, well, ecstatic. We experience it in tiny bursts and in bigger surges. It enables us to recognize the sacred nature of our own being, and as an experienced fact, not merely a theory or article of faith. Ecstasy is not something we can make within ourselves, but something that flows through us when we open ourselves to it. It fills us with power and with the motivation to grow, to become what we have the positive potential of being, and to fulfill our purpose in being here and now on this planet. When we are feeling these surges of joy, we are empowered and we know that we are on an appropriate track for us, the track that leads to greater meaning and fulfillment in our lives. This card in a reading says, among other things, go for it. It confirms that we are on course, moving in a good direction, and that we are in harmony with the great song. It says, great joy and great accomplishment are within your reach. Its song also lights up and empowers the cards around it, healing the past, intensifying the moment, enlightening the future. Wow. I don't think I could have curated a better reading for today, man. I don't know that I've ever had ecstasis in a reading, in a collective reading. And it really solidifies for me my feelings and my thoughts about moving towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself, because therein lie your purpose, the whole point of being here. Oh, gee whiz. Nothing like coming here and crying on YouTube, man. Wow. I hope I hope today's reading really offered you something of insight into yourself today, because boy oh boy, it certainly has for me. It just solidifies everything that I've suspected for quite some time about the whole point of our existence. It is only the programming and conditioning within this vessel that keeps one feeling like that's like any of what I just read isn't so. So I hope this was helpful for you. I hope that if you were here live, or if you come across this later, either here on New Light Streaming Love or over on Sassy Seer Sheila, that you will accept today's reading and just allow it to wash through you. because it's meant for us all, not just me. I accept every word of this as truth for myself, and I hope you can too. Until we meet again, my friends, be well, be in joy, seek it, whatever that looks like and means for you. Don't let anyone tell you anything other. Mwah.